Recently, Globku released his video about what everyone really thinks about Sparking Zero, and just like him, I have decided to ask some questions regarding Sparking Zero, but these questions are not just mine. I gave you guys a chance to ask a question about Sparking Zero, so let's find out what he got for us.
You can ask as much as you'd like. I will see what I can answer, man. I'm happy to help, but we'll see. I had 30 minutes with the game, so I have magic knowledge on everything that goes on, but I do have some hands-on experience, and maybe that helps put some minds at ease or helps people learn a bit more about the game. I'm here for that.
How hard is it to transition from Budokai Tenkaichi 3 to Sparking Zero?
It's one of the easiest transitions you've ever had. Because, yeah, literally if you play with classic controls, because they have two control schemes, but with classic controls it feels familiar almost immediately. Like, there are some specific things that you're going to have to get used to, but it truly feels like a sequel, where if you've played the previous game, like, the new one doesn't play exactly the same, but you kind of know where things go, and so it's easier for you to adjust to go into it. I would say the difference is bigger than it was from, like, Tenkaichi 2 to Tenkaichi 3, but it's probably not as big as it was from Tenkaichi 3 to Raging Blast, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, you are good. If you are playing Tenkaichi 3 a lot right now, the transition is going to go very smoothly for you.
Which control type would you recommend to a beginner?
So honestly, I don't even know. For expert players, I might also recommend standard controls. I might recommend standard for everyone. It feels like classic is there because of the legacy, and people are used to that control scheme and they don't want to change, and that's fine. Like, they want their muscle memory to be that way and never change it ever. But I actually think standard is a more modern control scheme that makes more use of the entire controller. For instance, one of the things that you cannot do with classic is use the D-pad. Or you can use the D-pad, but you use it for movement. So it basically does the same thing as the thumbstick. On standard, you can use the D-pad to do other things like tag out or do transformations, so you don't have to mess with the right stick to do that. Like, you can keep your fingers or your thumb on the face buttons while working transformations with the D-pad. I think that's a much more modern and a much more natural way of playing an arena fighter like Tenkaichi is. But again, like, people have been playing Tenkaichi for so long that I understand why classic controls even exist. I personally, even though I've played all the Tenkaichi games recently, and I'm very, very used to the classic controls, I think I will be trying to get used to the standard control scheme. Because it's block on RB, bro. Like, instead of being block on circle, like in Tenkaichi, like, it just makes so much more sense. To me, standard makes more sense, but it's at the end of the day, it's an option, and it's up to player preference, so it kind of doesn't matter.
How much advantage do players have that played Tenkaichi 3 before? And could someone like me who just started playing Sparking Zero win?
Yeah, I would absolutely destroy you early on. But the thing is, I don't know long term if that's an advantage or a disadvantage. Because we kind of don't know how the meta is going to evolve and how or what the game rewards in the long term. What's competitive Sparking Zero like? Is that even close to Tenkaichi? For instance, like, one thing that is completely different in Sparking Zero is the combo structure. Like, you can do the same combos that you did in Tenkaichi, but hit stun just lasts for so much longer now. They have a ton of new combos that are possible that the old routes might just be pointless at this point. That's maybe getting a little bit into too many specifics, and the build might change from now until launch, so things are always subject to change, obviously. But I was able to, like, just do some freeform combos with Ki Blast and just, like, approach as I do Ki Blast and keep the combo going. You can't do that in Tenkaichi, not in the relaxed way that I was able to do it in Sparking Zero. So if combos are a lot easier to perform, then suddenly you don't have an incentive to ever finish your combo. Maybe there are infinites in this game right now. We don't know. No one has explored the game enough to really find out. And if there are infinites, that means every combo has to be broken with one of the defensive mechanics, and that immediately changes what competitive sparking is all about. So early on, if we both sit down and play the game right now, you will absolutely get destroyed. Long term, maybe that Tenkaichi experience is actually toxic, and you approaching the game fresh will allow you to learn the game without any of the previous biases, and will allow you to get good at the stuff that matters quicker.
Did the characters change a lot? And even if they did, do they still feel like their older variant?
So I don't think Yeah, I think all the characters I played were new, though. Like I played Golden Frieza, I played Android 17, but that kind of feels like a new character. It doesn't feel like Z at all. I played the Dragon Ball Super versions of Vegeta and Goku. I played Gogeta. So I don't think I played any of the old characters to be able to tell you that they feel the same or not. I will say they have a lot of the same combos. So if you want to do the stuff that you did before, for the most part you can. I just don't know if that's the best thing you could be doing in Sparking Zero now. I guess the one character that I played that was in the previous games was Hercule. He plays very different though. He's very different.
How do transformations work? Are you stronger if you start out with the transformation or if you transform mid-game?
So with 30 minutes, I obviously did not compare that. Because what I did was I picked Goku Blue from the start. And I also played with Vegeta Super starting in base form and transforming all the way to blue. But I couldn't tell you. Honestly, like maybe that's something that you could probably see, like compare damage different, the damage that Goku Blue deals and the damage that Vegeta Blue deals. But the timer was also very short. So by the time I transformed into Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, it was almost timeout. If you really want to find out about that, yeah, I guess you have some footage to compare the two. But even then, you're comparing Goku with Vegeta, so it might be a skewed kind of comparison. That's a tough one to know in 30 minutes for sure.
Will everyone like the video and subscribe?
No. Guaranteed. Someone will not hit the like or the subscribe. I'm telling you right now.
Will Sparking Zero have rollback netcode?
I don't think so, but I don't know more than you. Like, playing the game doesn't give me an edge to answer that question. Like, I know as much as you guys.
I'm assuming even if you knew, you probably wouldn't let us know yet.
Yeah, if I knew, I probably wouldn't be able to say it.
How fast are homing dragon dashes, and can you overtake your opponent with it?
So, okay, so you want to know if, like, you're running away with a dragon dash, can someone else catch up to you? I think with a quick dragon dash, the one where like you press the button again to go to their back, that one is super fast. I think that one would catch up immediately, no matter how fast you're going with any other ability. If you double tap that X while holding down the charge button, you are gonna reach them. I don't think there's any way for anyone to escape that.
Is there any limitation to who you pick on your team? This question came to my mind 2 minutes before the interview, since I just saw a tweet about it and I wasn't really sure how to ask this, but there is his answer.
There used to be one in Tenkaichi. This demo had nothing like that. But yeah, Tenkaichi, there's a game mode where each character has a cost associated. Like there's battle power associated to each character. And it's basically done for balance. So you can't just pick, well, I'm going to pick 3 Gogetas, you know? Like, no, well, the number on Gogeta is very high, and this team has to be within a certain power limit, so I think that's what people are referring to, but it wasn't in this demo at all, no.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter as well. I just read it before we even talked about it, so I'm like...
It could be a game mode. It could be a returning game mode, for sure.
Will Sparking Zero have a day 1 tournament on the AGC Discord?
Probably. I'm not gonna say that I'm the one to host it. And obviously the big question I have right now regarding tournaments is there spectator mode? Like, can the streamer spectate the game, right? Because if there's no spectator mode, then we're back to a My Hero One's Justice scenario or a Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash scenario, where you have to watch people's matches by watching their live stream on Twitch or ask people to share play or whatever. And that is a terrible experience for both the tournament organizers and a terrible experience for the viewers too, because the matches, the gameplay quality just isn't as high as it would be if there was a way to spectate games. So that's my big question right now with everything like Sparking Zero tournaments, is that everything looks good so far, but can we spectate games online? And depending on that answer, that means that we'll have more tournaments or less tournaments, because for as hype as the game is, I don't think any tournament organizers want to go through that pain of a process of being like, okay, well, stream your game, please, or share your game. It's so annoying.
Any new game modes. Examples are such as CPU versus CPU or even 2v2.
This demo had episode mode, episode battles. So that's the one where Goku goes and fights Raditz, and you can choose whether to go alone or go with Piccolo. They told us to only play the battle mode, so that's the one thing we played. But the demo had episode battle, and they showed us that gameplay, and I think that footage is out there too. The demo also had custom battle, so that's the one where you set up your custom rules and then maybe even share that battle with everyone else. But again, we were only supposed to play the battle versus CPU. There was no CPU versus CPU in this build. Doesn't mean there won't be in the final game. Like the game modes were so limited in this one that it was like clearly not a final build, right? And you had as far as 2v2, I don't know if that question is referring to number of players, but if it's the number of characters, you could select as big of a team as you wanted, up to 3 characters. So you could go 2v2, you could go 3v3, you could go 1v3, which I did. So like, yeah, you can pick whatever team size you want against whatever team size you want your opponent to have. And the final game will have up to 5, so I imagine it's going to be the same. You could have a 1v5, you could have a 2v3, you could have all that.
Can you loop moves that go into cinematics?
You can't loop them because most moves cost 3 bars of key, and you have a maximum of 5 bars. So in between the 2 moves, you would have to key charge always.
Any hints of future game development? Anything that you can share, be that rollback or even crossplay?
I don't know about rollback. I don't know about crossplay. I don't know about any of that. Outside of the stuff that I shared, like talking about what you can do in custom battles and what's going on in episode mode, not really. I think that's most of the questions I asked. And the hyperbolic time chamber, I wanted to make sure. I wanted to clarify, okay, this is not the name of a game mode where you can play split screen. You're telling us that we can only play in this stage. This is the one stage where we can play split screen. And they were like, yes, this is not the name of a game mode. Like that theory that was going around on Twitter. Like, oh, hyperbolic time chamber is the name of the game mode where you go into and then you select other stages. No, it's only that one stage. And it's because of stage destruction. Actually, like someone else has made a video, Mobile Suit Rock. I don't know if he's published it yet, but he looked into this and it's actually not new. If you go back to Raging Blast and I think some Tenkaichi stages too, the stages are actually different if you play them in split screen. They're a lot emptier. They don't have as many destructible objects. And basically, Sparking Zero is the same thing, but elevated. Because if you've seen the gameplay that's been floating around now, you can see how much is destructible in these environments. Like there's so much, yeah, a lot more than in the past. But since that is the issue for split screen, because with split screen, for those that don't know, you're basically rendering the game twice. Okay, think about how hard it is to have games run well at 4K 60 FPS nowadays. Like most games just don't do that. And now you're asking the console to do it twice, right? You have to run both games because they got 2 perspectives running at the same time. Obviously, that's going to be a big performance hit. And the biggest culprit for that performance hit would be the destructible environment. And that's why they found this one solution, which was let's put them in the environment that has no destruction. And then we can handle it. Which means like if there's ever offline tournaments, it's always going to be in the same stage. But hey, I think it's at least better than nothing. That's something they weren't even going to do. So good compromise. Yeah.
Anything you'd like to share that the players might want to know?
I think the developers have been very receptive to feedback, and I think that's something we need to take advantage of. Basically, whenever some creators have something to say that like, oh, I wish this would be better or whatever, there's a big faction in the community that is like, no, this game is perfect, shut the fuck up. And I think that's just bad for everyone. Because these developers are really, really good at taking feedback and fixing things quickly. So instead of silencing those creators, we should actually just let them cook. Because at the end of the day, that just means we all get a better game at launch. And we're all very much looking forward to Sparking Zero, for sure. I think this has the potential to be the best 3D Dragon Ball game of all time. And I think that's really hard to pull off. but they have a very good shot here, and that's exciting. So yeah, let's take this chance, because these don't come often. These just don't come around very often.
Do you have any socials? Where can we find you?
Yeah, it's youtube.com/biscuitb23.
Thank you, Globku, for giving us a chance to learn more about Sparking Zero. But if you weren't satisfied, then here are 2 videos about the game. Thanks for watching, boys. Peace!